Welcome to the first Inside Pride Parade, presented by UCLA Lambda Alumni, a network within the UCLA Alumni Association. Inside Pride Parade will feature desktop floats, Grand Marshal bios, and group performances. This virtual parade accepts entries from all over that honor groups, individuals, and musical or dramatic productions that relate to the LGBTQ+ communities. I am UCLA Lambda Alumni Board Member Jonathan Wilson, with fellow commentators at this event, comedienne Jackie Steele, and the co-host of the hit queer Latinx podcast, Your Gay Cousins, Michael Avila and Estevan. Now hold on tight and get ready to enjoy this unique parade experience. Who knows, this might be the first of many inaugural Inside Pride parades. Wow. Did you know that this summer marks the 50th summer since the first Pride Parade was celebrated? That's half of a century worth of Pride celebrations. Understanding that, we couldn't let this time period marked by a pandemic, social unrest, and economic hardship, I'm tired, limit our desire to celebrate one another. Instead, we are leaning right in. That's right, you heard me. UCLA Lambda Alumni supports Black Lives Matter. In fact, you'll even see a dedicated float as well as a conscious effort to make sure that we had inclusive representation. Wow, look at this float. I really like the flamingos. Who doesn't love a rainbow bear? Kind of makes you think of the Care Bears. Anyway, this float represents the UCLA LGBTQ Campus Resource Center, which has proudly been serving the UCLA community for 20 years. The center provides a comprehensive range of education and advocacy services supporting intersectional identity, development, as well as fostering unity, wellness, and an open, safe, and inclusive environment for UCLA's LGBTQ community. So Mark Taper Forum, Immediate Family Performance. This is an excerpt from Immediate Family, showing two brothers, yes, that's brother with an A, as one reveals his authentic self.
Talk to you about the photographer. Christian, my friend. Christian. Right. He's gonna charge us now. No. He's with me. I thought you just said he was a film. We're together. What are you talking about? I don't know. Oh my God. You just said your brain. No, he's my partner. Y'all in business together? I mean, why would you know? I'm gay. He's my boyfriend. Oh man, I do that.
One of our greatest leaders on the front line of civil rights was Marsha P. Johnson. That's why she's our Grand Marshal. Miss Marsha was an activist, self-identified drag queen, performer, and survivor. She was a very prominent figure in the Stonewall Uprising of 1969. You were to ask Miss Marsha what the P stood for, she would say pay it no mind, which is also her response to questions about her gender. Yep, you go, Miss Marsha. Well, since we couldn't fit people on the actual spinning table, they're represented with pictures. Anywho, Celebration Theater is an award-winning company dedicated to telling the stories of the LGBTQ community. The theater was founded in 1982 by gay rights pioneer Charles Rowland, one of the original founders of the Mattachine Society. Celebration Theater's mission is to entertain, inspire, and empower with innovative productions that celebrate the LGBTQ community while producing catalysts of change in the world. I have to say that I also have a personal affinity for this organization since I'm also on this board. Their support is very much appreciated by all. For those who don't know, the Los Angeles Urban League serves, educates, and empowers African Americans and other minorities to secure economic self-reliance and civil rights by providing targeted social programs and advocating for issues that benefit our communities. Our centennial is coming up, marking almost 100 years that the League has worked to empower, educate, and serve diverse communities through social advocacy, entrepreneurial enrichment, and workforce development. Yes, Miss Audre. Okay, so I didn't know who she was until we all put this together. Learning more about my Black LGBTQ history every day. So Audre Lorde was an American writer, feminist, womanist, librarian, and civil rights activist. That's a lot of is. She was self-described Black, lesbian, mother, warrior, poet, who dedicated both her life and her creative talent to confronting and addressing injustices of, get ready for this, racism, sexism, classism, heterosexism, and homophobia. That's a lot of isms, isn't it? Go, Miss Audre. Who dat? Is that Curious George in the wild jungle? Oh, never mind. This float represents Great Outdoors, which consists of 5 chapters in regions throughout Southern California, serving the LGBTQA+ community. I'm not sure if the A represents asexual or allies in this case, but I'm sure both are welcome. The group's activities include, get this, camping trips, day hiking, backpacking, white river rafting, canoes, swimming, kayaking, fishing, 4x4 off-roading, cycling, mountain biking, social gatherings, game nights, and many other interesting events. That was a mouthful, which, if you're single, you may be looking for that. This is really pretty. Look at the fishies. So established in 1965, East-West Players premiered more than 228 plays and musicals, along with over 1,000 diverse readings and workshops for actors, writers, and directors. EWP has cultivated a loyal audience of over 70% people of color. The company continues to build platforms for artists of color while advocating for multifaceted representations of the Asian Pacific American experience. Well, all right then, you go EWP. We have another great video here. This was provided to us by the Transcendence Gospel Choir, which is the music ministry for the transgender community.
There's an incredible amount of personal suffering and struggle that is behind every single person that's standing there singing. But, you know, we're also proclaiming victory and trying to, you know, make a way for other people to not have to suffer like we did and make, you know, find some peace.
Now I'm going to transition to my co-hosts, Estevan and Michael Avila.
Next up, we have Building Blocks, submitted by Charles Harless, class of 2005. This float represents using Lego to build bridges to acceptance. And the Village People are even on it.
Come on, Village People. Next up, PFLAG Pride. PFLAG provides confidential peer support, education, and advocacy to LGBTQ+ people, their parents and families and allies. PFLAG chapters are in all communities in all 50 states, with members and supporters in major urban centers to rural areas. PFLAG has been saving lives, strengthening families, and changing hearts, minds, and laws since 1972.
Next up, we have Jewel Tice Williams, activist, entrepreneur, club owner, and revolutionary. Jewel Tice Williams founded Catch One, the first Black gay disco in Los Angeles. Lambda honored Jewel with the creation of the Jewel Tice Williams Professional Achievement Award in 1994, and there's even a really cool documentary about her on Netflix right now.
This next float is from Stepping Forward in Solidarity. Stepping Forward LA is a nonprofit in Los Angeles supporting foster youth aging out of the foster care system. Many of our young adults attend UCLA, and many of our board members are UCLA alumni. We share many of the same values, including a commitment to diversity and inclusivity, and want to make sure that all members of the LGBTQIA+ community feel supported and protected.
Next up, we have Essence of Pride, submitted by Terrell Helander. Essence of Pride was inspired by the bright colors and energy of the celebration of Pride. The float captures the enthusiasm of this visual celebration.
Amundsen Theater, the play Indecent portrays the first lesbian kiss on Broadway, which occurred in 1907.
Art moves the needle. We all know it. Art speaks to the great universal truths, and art changes people's hearts and minds.
Well, it celebrates love. It celebrates the idea of no censorship. It celebrates inclusion and all the things that Pride actually means to us today.
So much of this piece feels sort of, beautifully but also painfully relevant. There is something incredibly painful about a people of having sort of how they're represented or how they're talked about in the wider culture. And I think that's happening to a lot of different communities today.
It's by Paula Vogel.
Paula Vogel is just like a hero playwright of mine.
She is a fantastic playwright.
Next, we have our Family Coalition. For over 20 years, our Family Coalition has provided community building and support for LGBTQ+ families with children, prospective parents, youth, allies, community partners, and volunteers. It works with families, teachers, administrators, and child-serving professionals to support their school communities and agencies in becoming more welcoming of LGBTQ+ families, children, and allies.
Lori Lightfoot. Lori Elaine Lightfoot is an American lawyer who currently serves as the 56th mayor of Chicago. Lightfoot is the first openly gay African-American woman to be elected mayor of a major city in the United States. She is also the first openly LGBT person, the first African-American woman, the second woman, and the third African-American to be mayor of Chicago. She's a badass.
A lot of firsts. Okaeri, which means welcome home in Japanese, is a multi-generational and bilingual organization of LGBTQ+ Japanese Americans, their families, and allies. Since 2014, Okaeri has held large biennial gatherings at the Japanese American National Museum in Los Angeles.
Sigma Phi Epsilon is a college social fraternity commonly known as SIG-EP. It prides itself on the diversity of its membership. In 1959, SIG-EP was one of the first fraternities to ban racial discrimination for its members. SIG-EP voted in 1999 to end intolerance of openly gay and queer members. In 2014, it became the first fraternity in the North American Intrafraternity Conference to accept transgender men as members.
All right, next up we have the Kirk Douglas Theater and the show Girlfriend. In the musical Girlfriend, two high school boys discover themselves through their attraction to each other.
I don't have to ask, and you'll know what I'm feeling. You don't need to see to believe. Baby, we're the same when we shine in each other's sky. Baby, we're the same, so you should not be surprised.
Andrea Jenkins is an American policy aide, politician, writer, performance artist, poet, and transgender activist. She is known for being the first Black openly transgender woman elected to public office in the United States, serving since January 2018 on the Minneapolis City Council.
All right, we have Youth Pride Chorus. Youth Pride Chorus harnesses the power of singing to galvanize lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and straight young people ages 13 to 22 as agents of change.
We are Youth Pride Chorus, and we're here to say, it gets better!
Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, things will get brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, things will get brighter.
Hamburger Mary's Bar and Grill is a gay-themed and LGBT-friendly burger restaurant chain that started in San Francisco in 1972. Hamburger Mary's restaurants provide entertainment from our Dining with the Divas drag shows to bingo fundraisers. Big Queen Bingo in Southern California is a fun and exciting way to make money for your charity and expand your donor base, as well as educating others about your charity.
Next up, we have Barnacle Busters. Founded by 3 gay dive enthusiasts in 1988, Barnacle Busters has grown to a membership of over 150 LGBTQ members. They draw members from Orange County and many other communities in Southern California. Get-togethers include social time, a quick review of past events, and previews of upcoming events. Meetings usually include a featured speaker on a dive-related topic and a fabulous raffle.
Our next Grand Marshal is Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin was an American leader in social movements for civil rights, socialism, nonviolence, and gay rights. Rustin worked with A. Philip Randolph on the March on Washington movement in 1941 to press for an end to racial discrimination in employment.
Next up, we have Officer Clemens. Francois Scarborough Clemens is a gay American singer, actor, playwright, and university lecturer. He's perhaps best known for his appearances as Officer Clemens on the PBS television series Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood from 1968 to 1993.
All right, this next float comes from Equality California Float. Equality California brings the voices of LGBTQ plus people and allies to institutions of power in California and across the United States. It strives to create a world that is healthy, just, and fully equal for all LGBTQ plus people. Equality California advances civil rights and social justice by inspiring, advocating, and mobilizing through an inclusive movement that works tirelessly on behalf of those we serve.
Our next Grand Marshal is the icon Sylvia Rivera. Sylvia was a prominent figure in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising. Sylvia fought hard against the exclusion of transgender people from the Sexual Orientation Non-Discrimination Act in New York, and was a loud and persistent voice for the rights of people of color and low-income queers and trans people.
Inland Valley Repertory Theater Company, IVRT, was founded in 1990 by Frank and Donna Marie Minano to represent high-quality local theatrical productions and to promote the talents of actors of all ages. IVRT has consistently produced critically acclaimed and award-winning theatrical works, many with LGBTQ themes like Death Trap, Prelude to a Kiss, Fun Home, Hairspray, Victor Victoria, and Cabaret. Now we're going to bring in our co-host, Jackie Steele. Jackie, take it away.
Okay, here comes the Lambda Legal Float. We're here with Pride. Super bright, super fun. Founded in 1973, Lambda Legal is the oldest and largest national legal organization. Its mission is to achieve full recognition of the civil rights of lesbians, gay men, bisexuals, gay, transgender people, and everyone living with HIV. By using impact litigation, education, and public policy work, Lambda Legal selects cases that will protect and advance the rights of LGBTQ people and those with HIV. Thank you, Lambda Legal. celebrating Jose Julio Sarria, who's an American political activist from San Francisco, California, who in 1961 became the first openly gay candidate for public office in the U.S. We don't talk about it enough, so let's make that note. The first candidate for public office in the U.S. was actually Jose Julio Sarria. Make a note. Okay, get excited because here comes the UCLA Black Alumni Association float. The UCLA Black Alumni Association, the UBAA, empowers African-American UCLA alumni, students, faculty, and the community at large to form powerful associations through advocacy and mobilization. They achieve this by providing scholarships, advocacy, support, and networking opportunities for the Black community. Get there, get involved, find your place. They will help you get it done. It's amazing work. Next up, celebrating Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo was a bisexual Mexican painter whose work explored questions of identity, post-colonialism, gender, class, and race in Mexican society. Stunning then and stunning now. Coming up now, super excited because we all know I love a unicorn. Who doesn't? The Outfest float. Outfest began in 1982 at UCLA. It is one of the only global LGBTQIA+ arts, media, and entertainment organizations whose programs empower artists, communities, and filmmakers to transform the world through their stories and productions. Outfest creates visibility to diverse LGBTQIA+ stories and empowers storytellers to drive meaningful social change. And if you've never been, a hell of a party. That's all I'm gonna say. Yep. Coming up next, All Black Lives Matter. What's that?
All Black Lives Matter.
Yes, a group of all Black LGBTQ+ leaders came together to organize the All Black Lives Matter Solidarity March in Los Angeles. The march is in direct response to racial injustice, systemic racism, and all forms of oppression. What bravely started with Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera at the Stonewall Inn in 1969 has become a monumental movement in the fight for civil rights. The LGBTQ+ community must extend its support to unite against oppression, police brutality, racism, transphobia, and the many other disparities disproportionately impacting the Black community. Moving into celebrating James Baldwin. James Arthur Baldwin was an American novelist, playwright, essayist, poet, and activist. He explored the intricacies of racial, sexual, and class distinctions in Western society. So he had his work cut out for him. Phoenix, Colorado's Trans Community Choir is a fully collaborative grassroots community of individuals who believe in the transformative potential of the performing arts. Ladies and gentlemen, Phoenix, Colorado's Trans Community Choir.
We are the Colorado Trans Community Choir and Arts Collective, a new chorus in the Gaelic community. The world of singing can be painful for trans people, as voice parts tend to stand in for gender, so I wanted to start a choir free of gender norms. Core to our mission is that we are not just home to trans-identified people, but everyone touched by trans issues, including our partners, families, and friends, and all those who do not neatly fit into the gender binary. Although most people believe that transitioning helps you to finally be recognized for the person you feel yourself to be, since we still have only two choices, many of us continue to feel invisible in the world.
Gladys Alberta Bentley was a Black, lesbian, cross-dressing American blues singer, pianist, and entertainer during the Harlem Renaissance. She famously dressed in men's clothes, including the signature tuxedo and top hat, played piano, sang her own raunchy lyrics to popular tunes of the day while flirting with women in the audience. My kind of lady. Here we have the USC Lambda Float. I'm loving the use of the Trojan hat. It's fantastic. The mission of USC Lambda alumni is to award scholarships to current students of any gender or sexual orientation who support LGBT issues. To keep members connected to the university and each other via events, activities, professional networking, and forums, and to create an enriching and supportive community that promotes education, networking, and increased visibility for USC's LGBT students and alumni. Go Trojans. Am I allowed to say that here? Coming up next, we have the fabulous one and only Billy Porter. Billy Porter, aside from being most of our personal heroes, Billy Porter is a Broadway and television performer, singer, and actor. He won the 2013 Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical for his role as Lola in Kinky Boots. He credits the part for cracking open his feminine side to confront toxic He won the 2013 Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical for his role as Lola in Kinky Boots. He credits the part for cracking open his feminine side to confront toxic masculinity. Billy was a TV series regular on Pose and American Horror Story. He is a supporter and fundraiser for the Ali Forney Center, a community center for homeless LGBTQ+ youth. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it back over to Jonathan Wilson for the UCLA Lambda Alumni Association.
Thank you. I can't believe I follow that. That's great. The Lambda Grads Float. You didn't think that we could end the parade without having a float that represents the UCLA Lambda Alumni Association, did you? Well, neither did we. If you haven't heard of our group, we focus on sustaining a network of LGBTQ+ alumni and friends in support of one another, UCLA students, and the greater LGBTQ+ community. Lambda hosts over 24 events each year, ranging from social networking and professional development events to events that support students and mentorship. This year, 4 graduates received scholarships from our organization: Dana Dixon, Camille Serrano, Matt Brush, and Victor Rocha. Congrats to all of them. And on behalf of the board, we wish them all well as they begin their lives after graduation. Well, thank you all for joining. That's the end of our parade. Look for details next spring on how you can be part of the next year's Inside Pride Parade. Now, with that said, let's end on a Nate clap. What can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. U C L A.
UCLA. Fight, fight, fight. Woo!